Hey there, welcome to the Astro Psyche. This is your weekly astrology for May 15th through the 20th. And this week there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's changing. We have both Mars and Jupiter changing signs. We also have our first week of Mercury being fully direct in several weeks. And we have a new moon in Taurus. So a lot to talk about this week. My name is Shawna McGrath. I'm an astrologer, and I'm excited to share the astrology of this week with you. So let's start at the beginning. What I think is really important that kind of like kicks off several chains of events is that Mars is moving from Cancer into Leo this week. And at first blush, we would think that this is kind of a positive flow of energy because Mars has a challenging time in the sign of Cancer. Mars in Cancer tends to show where any frustrations that we have around emotional expression and emotional action, it can be a little bit difficult to act in a way that is more direct when Mars is in Cancer. Some of you know, if you have your natal Mars in your birth chart in Cancer, that denotes a person that tends to be more uncomfortable with confrontation, and it can be kind of difficult to do the thing that you need to do or say the thing that you need to say. So in general, we like Mars moving into the sign of Leo because this Leo is more harmonious with Mars's natural tendency, with its natural temperament. And when this happens, we're going to be having Mars opposite Pluto because Pluto is at the very beginning degree. It's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So Pluto in Aquarius, when Mars moves into Leo, it automatically becomes opposite Pluto. And Mars opposite Pluto is a challenging aspect. It's about the Mars part of us that's about aggression and assertiveness and confrontation and fighting for things and being very direct and taking action. And this can be positive. It can also be challenging. Mars in the challenging position is a Mars that is about taking action without really like thinking through all of the details, or taking action in a way where it's like too quick for some reason or too confrontational or not confrontational enough, of course. So Pluto is about revealing the unconscious. Pluto is about, well, let's see. So Pluto essentially holds unconscious material. Pluto is the planet that is known as the planet of the underworld. And Pluto is about things that are hidden, things that are obscured in a way where it's hidden, and it's about deep psychological happenings or functions that we're not always aware of. And we can't always be aware of everything because then our brain would explode. We don't have the capacity to be fully conscious aware of everything. So Pluto is not bad in this way, and Pluto holds all of the unconscious patternings that we're aware of, that we're not aware of. And so for this reason, Pluto can feel confronting. If you have a strong Pluto in your birth chart, you may be a person who other people feel confronted by, or people feel triggered by, just by the nature of you being or saying the things that are on your mind. So the essence of Pluto is that it confronts us with reality, and it often confronts us with a reality that we were not previously aware of. So I don't say that to freak you out or to say that something bad is going to happen. I'm sharing that with you because when we have Mars opposite Pluto, there can be an awakening around actions, Mars, that you do or that you take or that you are taking where you're like, oh, I didn't realize I'm actually doing, like where there's some kind of unconscious motive that is revealed to you. And sometimes this is really helpful because it helps us to see things more clearly so that we can make changes in our lives if we want to. But sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. Now, the other piece that's tying into this Mars opposite Pluto is that this week Jupiter is also moving into the sign of Taurus. And so when Jupiter does this, it's also making this aspect. So Jupiter is going to be, Mars is going to be in a square to Jupiter. So we have, it's called a T square. So the planets are like in a T shape, a capital T shape. And so when we look at Mars square Jupiter, this is about Jupiter expanding and elaborating on and sort of creating a craving for more, a craving to do more, to act more. And what's really interesting, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and how we experience this, because these are all fixed signs that this is happening in. So Mars in Leo is a fixed sign. Jupiter in Taurus is a fixed sign. Pluto in Aquarius is a fixed sign. So fixed energy tends to symbolize where we want things to root down versus change. So fixed signs tend to emphasize growth and development and elaborating on something that has already happened. It has a stabilizing effect. Now, of course, the downside of this is staying in a situation for too long, or stubbornness is a classic fixed sign symbol. So I share that with you because in a way I sort of like that this is happening in fixed signs, because it feels like it stabilizes the energy, and fixed signs are concentrated and they're focused. And so when we have this Mars, Jupiter, Pluto concentration, it may benefit us. It may be easier to manage this big energy. Like, this is big energy. Jupiter is about expansion and growth and justice and social activism. Mars is about fighting for something, and Pluto is about revealing the secrets. So all of this energy is really about making big changes and doing it in a way that is very active, that is very confrontational, essentially. It's not a quiet behind the scenes kind of energy. And so this week, so how to work with this energy. So this week, I think that it helps us to know what our focus is this week, but also just generally in our lives. I think that because we're coming out of a Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and we have a new moon in Taurus, there's a lot of energy here around coming out of a period of reevaluation. So it can be really helpful. Like, this may be a time where you actually feel very motivated to take action and make the changes that you've been thinking about for a long time, where you finally have the fire underneath you, Mars and Leo, to take action and to put things into place. This is an energy of enthusiasm. And so yes, so finding and being very clear on where you're focusing your energy and doing that as intentionally as possible, because there will be this sort of, I'm feeling into it and seeing it as sort of like an what's that? Like a stream or a channel, like this flow of energy that is very concentrated. And when this energy has guiding boundaries alongside it, and this will be adjusted, of course, like day to day, we're always adjusting how and where we focus our energy. But when you provide that, those shorelines then the energy can flow in a way that is productive versus destructive. It's all about that intention and that checking in, which we're always doing, right? We're always checking in as things change and evolve in our lives. Now, also this week, so we're fully in Mercury being direct in Taurus. Mercury station direct this past Sunday on the 14th. And this week we're having a new moon in Taurus. And so there's a lot of energy here in Taurus, right? We're having Jupiter move into here, new moon here. I think it's also interesting that during this new moon, Jupiter will be very close to the North Node, which is a symbol of synchronicity and destined events happening, sort of like being guided and led by Psyche, by your intuition, by the universe. And then there's a planting of a new seed this week around this area, around Taurus. So Taurus is about earth, the practical things. It's a fixed sign, so it's about growth and development. And Taurus rules a particular house in your birth chart. And so that area of life, whatever it is getting a concentrated dose of energy. There's a lot of focus here. And so there's been this period of review with Mercury retrograde here. And now Jupiter is coming in to open up new possibilities. And we're having a new moon to plant some seeds to be watered by Jupiter. And so this feels like I forgot to tell you, the new moon is happening on Thursday, the 19th of May. It's exact at 8:53 a.m. Pacific time. So a lot of potential for new and fresh energy here. My sense is that this week is going to feel energizing. That being said, it is still the waning moon phase, so it might be kind of like a combo of energizing plus physically wanting to go inside and to retreat, because we're in that waning phase of the moon leading up to the new moon on Thursday. And then the last piece that I'll share with you is toward the end of the week, after the new moon, we have the sun moving into Gemini. So happy birthday to my Gemini people. So a lot going on, and then the sun brings us into this Gemini, mutable, changeable, thinking kind of energy. And I like that because, again, we've had such a concentration around Taurus energy, and we'll continue to have that because Jupiter is moving through Taurus for the next 12 months or so. So this is good. And, I like Jupiter in Taurus because the moon is exalted in Taurus and, I said that wrong. I'm shuffling and talking at the same time. Because the moon rules Cancer and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer I'm like getting all mixed up, you guys. Okay, sorry. My intuitive brain is like more active than my logical brain. So I like Jupiter in Taurus for us because the moon is exalted in Taurus and Jupiter is exalted in the moon sign of Cancer. So it feels like there's this affinity between Jupiter and Taurus. Take that for what it's worth. But my point is that this feels like a very potent new beginning with Jupiter moving into this new sign. Taurus is all about the physical and luxury and enjoyment, and then this new moon here at the same time. So it feels like there's a lot of potential for new growth and development and things that you may not see immediately. Things that, and even if the new beginning is apparent, we know that it's going to continue to grow and develop over the next 6 months with the lunar cycle, and then over the next year with Jupiter moving through this sign over the next 12 months. Okay, so you can pick a number between 1 and 3, or you can take all of these cards as you wish. Okay. These cards feel very striking to me for some reason. There's like a poise somehow. Okay, so 7 of Inspiration is the first card. This is also the 7 of Wands. And this card is so interesting because this figure is sort of like boxed in this sort of almost upside down diamond shape. And they're like pushing against the sides. So this card is about meeting resistance and working with our relationship to the resistance and how we want to manage it. So I want to read the description of this card because I'm just feeling like doing that. And this card can mean, it can be an encouragement to bend your rules and go with the flow in the effort of having harmony with others. It can also be an indicator of standing your ground and not sacrificing your principles or your ideals. And I think that this card is really speaking to what is it that's right in the scenario, in the situation, and finding a flexibility with that, because all situations are not the same. And all periods of time are not the same. So the 7 of Inspiration, this is the Muse Tarot. Keywords are defending your position, being attacked, being protected by your inner light. The inner light here. Other people's negative opinions or scarcity mindsets. Internal versus external validation. Energetic shields, paying attention to your energy. And the mantra here is, it's sort of like a poem, defend, I am here. I am strong, and I have made it. Take, you can't, and break, I shan't. No closing in will shade it. So this feels like a powerful message around protecting your energy and knowing how to energetically protect yourself. We may go back to that because that feels like a really important message. The second card is the 9 of Inspiration, so the 9 of Wands. And in this card, the figure is wearing this orange outfit, and it's almost kind of like a dress or something that's sort of like flowing up around them. This card, the 9 of Inspiration, 9 of Wands, is about having been through many trials and errors, having gone through a lot of hardship, and sort of being at, this card is saying you're not done with doing this big, broader journey, and you're at the end. And so it's kind of like, how can you find the reserves that you need to move through this last push of this challenging situation? And I see it as an encouragement to, number one, appreciate what you've been through and to validate that what you have been through has been very difficult. And number two, to know that now is not the time to give up because you've invested so much. It's kind of like that final last push kind of energy. Okay, the third card is the Knight of Materials. So this is also the Knight of Pentacles. It has a picture of a black horse with this really beautiful succulent in the back. So this card is funny because this card is always about patience for me, and it's about moving forward, yes, but doing so in a way that is patient and wise and thorough and not hasty. So taking action from a place of centeredness and groundedness. This feels very connected to the fixed energy. This feels very connected to Jupiter moving into the sign of Taurus. And so when I'm looking at this, this as a whole, it feels like there's something here around needing to protect the delicate and vulnerable parts of yourself, needing to protect that inner light from criticism or doubt, and this can even be internal criticism or judgment. It's about like really protecting your inner child, even in a certain way. And even when you feel insecure or not good enough or doubting yourself in any way, even imagining yourself as a 5-year-old and like cuddling up with yourself and like knowing that you are protecting yourself and knowing that you're okay and that there's nothing that anyone can do to take away your worth and your light, and that is always there, that is always a part of you. And that there are some, like, there's kind of like a last part of this journey or this challenge that you're going through, whatever this challenging situation is. And that it's about proceeding slowly, proceeding with wisdom, with slow, confident wisdom. And the Knight of Materials is about not getting stuck, I think, like not getting stuck in this place of like exhaustion, because the Knight of Inspiration can be about exhaustion. And so how can you find the resources that you need, the inner resources, to continue to move forward? All right. I hope that you found that helpful. I really enjoy making these videos for you. And of course, if you resonate with me and my work, I would absolutely love to do an astrology reading for you. You can find out more about that below, and all my other offerings are below as well. I teach a weekly yoga class, and and I do an Instagram live chat on Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm sending you so much love and wishing you a wonderful week. Bye.